Oh my lord, what is stressing? And of course, my camera didn't work. Dude, this is just freaking awesome. Okay, guys, very sorry for this. It is just not sure what the hell is going on here. All right, let me see the charts. All right, let me give you 1 second. Let me see if the charts actually are working now. No, they're not working now. And let me see if I can do this and change this really quickly. All right. Dude, I swear to God, they changed the freaking key placement and this was horrible. So for some reason the the YouTube key thing was actually broken and I need to reset or reboot every freaking thing. Oh my goodness. Well, I actually was already giving the news and stuff, but let me get started once again. And let's get started with you guys because you guys are the most important part of the show. Thank you very much for joining. Really glad to have you guys in here. And by the way, 23rd. I mean, let's take a look at what does Christmas, I mean, the Christmas rally. Let's take a look at that because every single metal's out there popping. I mean, we have platinum doing new rally here. We have silver flipping oil. We have gold making all new time highs. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm leaving meme codes and getting straight to the metals. I'm not sure if I should be scared or prepared. Well, let's go take a look at what's up in here with you guys. And thank you so much for your patience, of course. And also, thank you so much for staying around. So let's get started. Alexander G in the house. What's up? Thanks so much to the Mode Queen in the house. How is it going, Alexander? Great to have you. I'll be Piper, of course, in the chat. Who else we got? We have JR. We have Trading Tuition. We have Week's Wife. What's up? We have Loco for Crypto. What's up, bro? Welcome. Great to have you, my friend. Oh, always great to have you. Who else we got in here? And I think that's it for now. Oh no, wait. I do see. I don't know how to pronunciate your name, but hey Jay, hey, what's up? JB Hulk Smash, how's it going, my friend? Mike Play, how's it going, Mike Played? Welcome. And of course, I don't know how to pronunciate your name. I see some Arabic thing going on in here. So welcome, my friend. I don't know. Let me see. Can I maybe something five? All right, I don't know, but all right. Welcome, my friend. Great to have you here, Robert Mulligan, of course. Great to have you, and Philly Fall Collins. What's up, bro? Mac Dutchy, how's it going, Dutchy? Baba Yas in the house. How's it going, guys? Welcome. All right, so we have a lot of things happening like once, everything at once. Let's go and take a look at what's going on with Bitcoin. I'm gonna go speed through the news. Most of the news are kind of like vanilla, not really too many serious things. I think we're gonna be having a little bit more as we have more data. We're gonna have more revealing things happening. Something important is that when metals are surging, especially precious metals, one of two things: either the industry that use them are flourishing, which in part they are, and or well then people are trying to protect their money or their wealth, right? So that's why should we be scared, or better yet, should we be prepared? That's why we take a look at the how's it going with metals, communities, crypto, everything all around to see where is it safe to start moving our investments around. So let's jump into the charts and let's take a look at what we got in here. Of course, the very first thing, me panicking and not finding the freaking stream key. By the way, I have changed. So if you are streaming, now it's at the top of the stream. There's a little copy button right there that says default stream key. And well, it never shows you like the little dots like that, just in case you were wondering. Then let's get started. I know Nancy Pelosi is not able to trade anymore. Well, this is not already part of this anymore, but just for a good nostalgia tracking portfolio, let's take a look here. She sold Apple, and that was her last movement on 24th of October 2025. And she also got AVGO and what else? Amazon, Google, Nvidia, of course. And look at that, she is very high. Remember when she first bought Nvidia? like back in the day, January the 2025, 2025, right? And well, she's already at profits. All right, so let's go take a look at the rest of the news in here. So we can see that mostly everything is in green. Do not get too excited. It is kind of like a vanilla green. Like it's not that excited, to be honest. Now that we're going to be looking at the charts, we are going to be realizing that this is not such a fantastic fun, but it's doing its thing, right? Oh, JR, what's up? All Junior, what's up, my friend? Welcome, morning. LFG. All right, so 24-hour rect, 302 million. Not that bad. I mean, within range, right? Single largest liquidation, it is valued at 4.4 millions. Oh my god, that's a good one. All right, so let's go take a look at the Bitcoin chart. So you can see everything's kind of like a green, and I think that has to do with this little retracement that we're having to the upside. So I'm talking about this little wick that usually indicates that we're gonna be then reversing. And actually, long story short, because we should be already in this area, but let's go take a look at that. Well, you see that liquidity resides at 86.55. So 86K, 500 and, well, 80, let's just go 86, 550. So 86, 550, somewhere around here. And as you can see, we went right to that liquidity, grabbed that liquidity, and then rejected back of it. It's not only the liquidity that we have in here. Remember, that's why we keep that many lines in our analysis, because they are freaking important, right? And then you can see it, of course, right in here with this big trend line that has an alert, remember, and it goes all the way down till that megaphone was incepted, right? So right here, coming in here, almost at the end of that area, and or at the end of that line. And guess what? Look at that. Just for maybe 1 cent, we did not trigger the alert, but right to the T, right there on that support zone. So are we gonna be having a next rally to the upside to hit the 93? Well, we're in. If we don't do it right now, I don't think when we are. So we need to start bouncing. Let's take a look at here at my oscillator just for now. And let me also, of course, turn on the blue topic in here. We're almost about to make the flip of the ribbon to the upside. Let me just get rid of this. This was on a higher time frame, but so far yeah, good. So we're looking for that flip of the ribbon. Something interesting that happened yesterday. I mentioned, hey, this is interesting because we're starting to have that money flow. But again, we are getting into a resistance area. We are into the resistance. We had the overbought. We have our power bar hitting green, and then of course a rejection down the flip of the ribbon with that little reversal at the top. All right, so and then we really quick turn into red. This is what I'm not liking. And it doesn't have to be do with the ribbon. It has to do with the money flow. Look at how flat that line is, right? Like a dead body's heartbeat. So let me just take a look at here. 1 second. Things are going bing bing on the Discord. So all right, I just need to lower that volume on my ear. Perfect. All right, so all the way here, you can see that we're turning just slightly green. Everything is red, 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 slightly green, and again red. So what I would like to see it is having the flip of the ribbon. Not only that, keeping this volume matrix going steadily. I don't need it to be all the way red. All right. So, like for example, I would love for this to do something like that, all right? But again, I don't need it to be all the way and always green. It can turn slightly bit red like it did in here, all right? But as long as it doesn't really deep down like in here, I'm okay with it. So that's what I'm looking for, mostly some reaction like in here for the best case scenario that will give me enough steady volume not to lose the zone. And right there, that's what we're looking for. All right, so hold through the storm. That's what we're looking for. So if we're able to hold this area and do the flip of the ribbon, I think we're golden to create the very first pivot like this. We still don't have it because we don't know if we're gonna have the next body candle going to the downside. All right, But other than that, we need to keep attention on what's going on in there. All right, so let's take a look at just one more chart here on the daily, and let's do a top-down analysis on what we have been tracking. All right, and let's see where are we sitting based on every single totaling that we have done. Right, the very first one, breakout retest, not quite a breakout retest, but we have the first breakout here with the bear flag, right? The bear flag went to our red zone. Right now, we are still on our red support or our red box of support. Pretty good support right there. Pretty good support. Pretty good support still. All right, so we still have that chance where we can even do something like this. I mean, I would even call it a little bit lower like that. So just be careful because we are flipping back around. This is on the daily, so this is really is not giving me good vibes. Let me skip to the point in here. Let me see if I can find it. All right. So you're gonna have some spoiler alerts, but I think it's important to look into what we have in here. Let's see really quickly. And come on, where is it? Other than that one, okay, just in Trump Media, this is important. Trump Media acquires another 451 more Bitcoin for 40.3 million. Guys, come on, who's running Trump Media? What a joke, right? What a question. So, all right, whoever is running it, the actual question that I want to ask is, do they know something that we don't? All right. And also, I want you guys to remember this. Remember that the big players, they don't get usually the very best price, but they get the best zone. All right. So if we go back to Bitcoin, remember they're not normal people like you and I, right? They don't even look at a $1,000 loss or even $5,000 loss. They don't even flinched on it, right? And remember that we're also talking about a possible scenario like this, right? The difference right now is that this is a downtrending channel, which is fabulous, right? But remember, if we do a lower high and a lower low like this, and we hold this zone, we could absolutely be creating that channel, which is going to be giving us now a little bit more hopium that we are on into a Wyckoff channel. By the way, just if you didn't know, also Alex of Crypto have been looking into this channel, the Wyckoff channel. All right. So what's going on in here? All right. I don't want you guys to go running just because there is a note in here, and damn, I just keep losing this thing. And dude, I'm just not in the mood with it with my PC right now. Uh there it is. Let me actually put it in here. All right. So I'm not telling you. I'm telling you to go and get Bitcoin right now. But if you don't have Bitcoin, all right, remember that the very first thing that you need is exposure to it. All right. So when you're investing, the very first thing that you need to do is go and get some portion of the asset, right? Like start a DCA. Remember that a DCA, it's a very quick way to start making a quote unquote savings. It doesn't involve, technically doesn't involve leverage, but you do you, right? And you decide whether if you want to do some leverage. If you're going to be doing leverage, that is not DCA. But again, you could do like a 1x leverage, 2x leverage, or something like that. Nothing crazy. Over 3, I wouldn't absolutely call it at all a DCA. All right. The point is, and I'm diverging a little bit, but the point is, not because they are buying means that you should be buying things that you're going to make a profit right away. They don't. That's why they look at where they bought again, right back in here. All right. 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour, 1 week, right? 1 week ago. And let's take a look at that. 1 week ago, they were buying the freaking top. All right. So they are not expecting to make a profit right away. Let me change that. That was alert. All right. Right away on their purchase. They are looking to do an average entry on the zone. That is a very important thing to understand because most let's just say newbies jumping into trading, they tend to see, hey, one kind of like a note like this, they buy and then the price dumps. Perfect. And what happens? They get wrecked while the other guys keep buying lower, right? So remember, be prepared, not scared, and remember that I have bought at 100K right in here. All right. I have bought right in this box. I have bought right in this box. All right. And my average right now, it's somewhere around 89. Basically, I'm breaking even. So at this point, what I'm going to be looking for, it is a better opportunity. That's what I'd like to see, especially now that we're doing something like this. All right. Like turning around. I believe that we could have something like that. Like, let me show you like what? Like this. All right. Not quite there yet because we're not green, but there exists that little possibility that we do that little movement, right? Up, down, up, right? And then we have a final Christmas rally to somewhere around 96. Again, I'm going to be selling right here part of my average, not everything, but I'm going to be, of course, taking some profits for myself if we get that rally. Nonetheless, if we start breaking through above 896, the next big boss is going to be 105. And then if we're able to take 105, all new time highs, I would say it's somewhere around 140 to 150-ish. But we are way too far away. And at this moment, the berry scenario, it's leading the way. So again, I'm not trying to give you fake hopium, just trying to prepare you to what's happening and seeing, Trump media getting some Bitcoin. Doesn't mean that we need to right now, but it means that something behind the scenes it's shifting that is calling the attention for Trump media. And it's not like a guy named Trump related to Trump media might be president of the United States that may have privileged data, right? All right, let's go. Let's take a look at XRP. Not XRP. Platinum. I just look at XP and I was looking at XRP. Platinum is really pushing. Look at that indecision candle at the top. Today we had a little retracement on that candle. Nonetheless, right now we're getting back at it. So making that little dot. That prime score is very, very high, almost at the end of the prime score, which means that possibly we may get that a consolidation score higher, right? So basically going 910, going back to zero, which means possible retracement. That would be our opportunity to get back at platinum. Remember what we talked about yesterday with Piper. Despite we see this rally to the upside, we could still also see some movement like that. And this will be genius for us to jump back in if we want to participate on it. All right. So let me bring up really quickly my indicators in here. Again, there's going to be everything at once. So bear with me. What a coffee. All right, so we have some predictive ranges. We're breaking through those predictive ranges, but we're having a dodgy candle, which means that if we consolidate that coach, if we close it as a doji, and then we make a big body candle like this one, but to the right, that will be a pattern and most likely a signal for it to go lower. What's going to be our next support? Look at that, almost precise, right there at somewhere around 2111 as our probably next possible entry, right? So just keep your eyes on it. I think this is going to be a very nice area to start looking for if we jump back in. And if this keeps going upwards, don't worry, wait for the retracement. All right, wait for that retracement. Let's go, Alexander G, with orange juice. Well, this one doesn't have it. This actually has some milk, but it's pretty good. It's actually cold. It's not cold brew, but it's a cold coffee, like a latte or something. But it's pretty good. My wife did it for me. Made it for me. All right, so let's speed through this thing really quickly. All right. President Trump, the tariffs are responsible for the great USA economy numbers. Just announced the tariffs are responsible for the great US economy numbers. Just announced, and they will only get better. Also, hopefully they do. No inflation. Hopefully we don't get it, but I don't know about. Not sure about that. Maybe technically, and great nation security. Also, we'll see. We'll see about that. Again, this is not a bad comment. I'm just saying we need more data. Just not a tweet, right? Pray for the U.S. Of course. Supreme Court President Donald J. Trump. Perfect. So good words from him. Of course, he's trying to make a legacy, and as any other politicians, will start to push the bright points of their presidency period, right? Nonetheless, we stick to the points, and the points are not that great. In fact, I'm very sorry, but you will get that unbalance in today's show in between. Hey, things are doing fantastic, right? I mean, metals are jumping in, S&P is pushing, right? I mean, but then we also start seeing some over leverage in the markets, right? And that has to do with the rapid growth that we have at the very end. So let's go and take a look at that. For example, breaking US GDP growth, I'm telling you, to a plus 4.3%. That is fantastic. The strongest growth since quarter 4 2023. Let's effing go. That's fabulous. All right. So that's fitting the narrative. Important, remember, if you need to choose between narrative and, or if I have to choose between narrative and reality, I will always choose narrative. All right, narrative, because they got the power at this point to print more bills, to cut the flow, to pump the flow, to do whatever they need to do, to push some numbers, to crumb some numbers, to shut down government, right? Temporarily, not to have data, and then to let's just say get a polished narrative number, everything accordingly. So the point is that I will always follow narrative, but as the truth, or as what I perceive as the reality start catching to it, of course, I always need a plan B, an exit plan. Like, for example, being ready to dump my stock if I see weakness, all right, or to take some profits. Also use stop losses, and of course, limit the amount of meme coins, or in this case, meme metals, if you also see it. Because remember, and here's something that I believe that we did not touch on yesterday's class. Stock on or futures on gold, they are way overvalued. That's where the over leverage come from or represents. And the actual physical gold, it is not as fluid as the futures. That has to do because one is a contract and the other one it is limited by physical means, like for example mining cost, right, production, transportation, refinement, and everything that it is behind making a process bar gold bar. All right, so just keep an eye on what's going on in there, right? Just in backup, Russia prepares a concept for regulating Bitcoin and crypto. Perfect. That's pretty good. Remember, let's remember back in the day when Russia had some very good miners, and Russia said, yeah, welcome Bitcoin, and then no, Bitcoin is prohibited, right? And then all the mining equipment, they had to kind of like a shutdown, and then yeah, pro crypto against crypto. So for me, this is a nothing burger until we see it executed. So it was the Kremlin is faster to change their opinion than changing their underwear. My opinion, by the way. Just in 90 billion, Venhek reports says its history repeats. If history repeats, the recent dip in mining activity could be bullish turn for Bitcoin. Yes, we're seeing a lot of things bullish for Bitcoin, but once again, let's tap into this chart. If we freakishly lose this area, guys, there is no mining power that is gonna just push it back above. All right, we are definitely gonna be hitting some lows before we start seeing some highs. All right, so just bear in mind, do not lose the floor below your feet. Right, it's always with caution. Are we on buying zones? Yes, like previous weeks. Yes, like 2 weeks ago. Yes, but time. This is a bump of time, and the clock is ticking, and right now this curve is not looking, this curving here is not looking that healthy, but we still have some hope, and we still lag of some information to tell for sure. So first, we need to hold the support, create a higher low, and then we're gonna be hunting the higher high. All right. But so far, so good. Let's go over here and let's take a look at here. Breaking gold. And let's go take a look at gold in a second. Futures, and this is what I was telling you, gold futures surged above 4,500 the ounce for the first time in history. Now, up more than a 70% plus this year. Let's effing go. Gold is now tracked for its biggest yearly gain since 1979. So remember, guys, we touched on this. Lasers go pew pew. What's up, bro? Welcome. We talked about this a few weeks ago, right? Where we touched on, hey, what is the pushman's version of gold, right? Because maybe at some point we all gonna see, hey, gold is just dude, so expensive, right? I don't know if it's going to be overvalued, right? Because we're talking about futures price. But and I don't think that it's a bubble, but we should or we could be having a retracement. So what would be the next allocation of metals? And of course, copper, platinum, silver, and palladium. So all of that basically getting in the way also as gold rises up its prices. Here's where we start turning things, all right? The US leverage loan market, it's under pressure, all right? Loan market, it's under pressure. The default rate for leverage loan was above 4% for 22 consecutive months, matching the 28 or the 2008 financial crisis strike. So remember that above 4%. Okay, 22 consecutive months for the 2008 financial crisis strike. All right, so this downturn lasted 2 times longer than during the 2020 pandemic. All right. Then, however, in November, the default rate fell to 3.7%, officially ending the streak. Importantly, defaults peaked down below 5% this cycle, far below the 8% high post 2009. On the other hand, the 5-year accumulation default, this is where the most important part comes in, rate rose to 16% this year, nearly matching the 70% level seen in last 2012. This comes as the US leverage loans, all right, leverage loan market has tripled since 2012 to a record 2 trillion. So, guys, 2 trillion, there's more money out there, more money, the evaluation, then more of that evaluated money comes into the leverage loans, right? And then what happens? Leverage loan investors are seeing large losses as we start seeing this. Look at that 2025, maybe seeing that 22. And so far, I don't see any more out of this until the next year. But again, for one hand, we have the narrative, and for the other hand, we have areas that still need to get patched, if that can be said. All right. Market concentration is still surging. The top 7 largest stock now reflect a record 36 of the S&P's market cap. Once again, what is the contradictory here? It's not that it's contradictory, it's just that, hey, with better news, we get more possibilities. With more possibilities, we get more enthusiasm, right? And of course, we push on the markets. Remember that we still had the rate cuts really recently. So that also impacts on the stock market. This percentage has doubled in just 7 years and exceeded the 2000.com bubble peak. Well, it's to be expected because there's more money out there to be injected, of course, right? Peaked by 13% points. Meanwhile, the 7 stock represent 26% of the index's earnings, near an all-time high. Perfect. Over the last 15 years, the market cap and earnings weighted of these stocks moved largely in tandem until 2022. Further, the top 10 largest stocks account for 40% of the S&P market cap, near record, and 32% of total index earnings and all-time highs. Big tech is getting bigger, especially if we start now accounting for the AI also pushing. So we'll see. Talking about AI. All right. So sweet Papa government and sweet child Elon, right? So oh my god, my goodness. This is this is proof that both sides they have a crime baby, right? And this is not because if Elon or the states or anything like that this happens every freaking where. I mean, come on, how many times I've seen in my own country senators are yelling at themselves that they're crazy and they're just corrupt and stuff, and right after they go take dinner together, of course, because they have mutual interest too. It's kind of like a show, everybody pushing and pulling on their side, but at the end of it all, well, money always speaks, right? Or interest always speaks. Breaking. The U.S. Department of War enters an agreement with sweet Elon Musk, sweet Jesus Elon Musk, if I can call him that, of course, and says today what the party officially enters into the agreement with XAI. All right. That's pretty interesting. So, AI development of cutting edge AI across the department, 3 million military and civilian personnel. So that is freaking cool. I think this is going to be also launching Elon far back into the game. And we might be seeing if he plays his cards well as he played them and on this time with Tesla. And then as he played it on his time with SpaceX, well, he can make a pretty penny. I would say that he also now that has DeepSeek making a competition on the other side of the world, I think he should be match the kind of performance versus energy consumption that the other side is actually pushing. All right, so let's just finish this up with a couple of more areas here. The world is burning more coal than ever. So isn't supposed to be? Aren't we supposed to be like now cold free or something like that? I mean, aren't we supposed to be pushing like 15 minutes what is it? 15 minutes cities, EVs and everything else? Guys, I mean, I don't know about you and my team fall high. It's a little bit farther away, so I'm not gonna be reaching out to get it. But the point is, I would say that there's more show than actual environment protection. All right. Uh it's true that we need to put a stop to it, right? Or whatever, as fast as we can. But also, we cannot strangle our own economy. Another important thing it is like, for example, do you guys remember this famous YouTuber, Mr. Beast, making water wells back in Africa, where the ONU or UN or I don't remember the organization name was not able to do as many, or actually was to do able to do as many, but not as cheaply, right? I think the same kind of show goes in here, right? There's a lot of interest going on, push and pulling in here that actually is we are now seeing those results, right? So, guys, I don't know, man. I'm not saying go nuclear, but let's go solar. Let's go wind motion, or let's do some alternative. At this point, the most efficient way to get, or the easiest, not efficient, but easiest and cheapest way to get energy is by burning coal. That's it, in natural gas. Annual coal consumption has surged to 1.4 billion tons since 2020. This increase has been driven primarily by China, which now makes up for 56% of global consumption, or 4.95 billion tons. By competition, U.S. coal demand stands at 410 million tons, just a 5% of the world's total. Meanwhile, the IEA projects a gradual decline in demand over the 5 years to 8.6 billion tons by 2030, and that's as new energy plants get created. Of course, we already have seen that, especially because they need cheaper and more reliable than just burning coal energy for their AI services and chip manufacturing that they want to start doing. However, past forecasts of peak coal demand have repeatedly proven wrong as consumption continues to rise. Yep. So a power hungry nation, if you cut its power, well, it doesn't develop. So that's why they need to, at all cost, keep supplying that sweet, sweet energy again at all cost. But like as a society, we should be taking a look at this. And finally, silver flips oil on value. Let's effing go. Let's actually go and take a look at that. Let's get it in here and let's go over silver really quickly. Right there, we have silver actually going much, much higher. Look at that. In fact, this was our prediction. So we are officially on stage two of our prediction. Let's effing go. All right. So what are we gonna be expecting? We're gonna be expecting a little bit more upwards movement here, maybe that double top ish like in here. And as we start getting some retracement, of course, that we're gonna be looking for a possible entry on silver. Let's bring up our indicators. And again, it's going to be a little bit full pack, but I think that's still going to be worth on type savings. So pretty good. We have new predictive ranges just being created. We hit the blue predictive range. So at this point, we are looking for a continuation upwards. We do have the volumetrics. We sort of have the money flow still green steady, so nothing to complain about it. And we could be looking at somewhere around 71,500 or even 74,700 to then have a worth retracement. Remember, if we see a range, that also counts as a retracement. So that's pretty good. Again, just silver. An ounce of silver is now worth more than a barrel of oil. This has only happened once before in the 1970s. All right, this is pretty aggressive to I would say. And again, we see that demand of precious metals. Just in silver reached an all-time high at $70. All right, so let's finish this up with this. Bitcoin price stalls around 88K. We already have seen that as bulls face off against key decision on Christmas rally narrative. Again, we still are looking for that possible Christmas rally, but as always with a stop loss and not believing that this is gonna be a given fact. All right, let me refresh a couple of things in here, especially this area. All right, and especially this chart. Perfect. And we already have hit, of course, the area of support. And then what we got right now, an 88 target. So 88K as a target. And then a possible rejection back to maybe 84. And then a possible pump up. Again, we have nothing in here, nothing that really drives up the institutional interest other than hitting all the way to, I don't know, 91, I would actually say 91,200, around that area. And unless we see a divergence in our oscillator or something like that, I don't think that we're gonna get it till this up 2 days. Let me of course refresh this because this already have expired. And as you can see, everything is pointing lower, which means we should be having a little bit of a push to the upside before pushing lower. How is the poly markets doing? Fed decision in January. Well, yesterday we mentioned that probably zero. Maduro out by 31 or 30, December or January. We'll see. I also think January or even February. And let's see, Super Bowl championship, Los Angeles now taking the lead. And not much in here to keep an eye on. The Epstein, or is it? No, that's it. It already has happened. S&P 500 down on December 2023, up or down? I think up. We already actually have seen that just now. All right, so so far so good. We just have one more news to go over. Zcash price loses a key historical support. No shit. Come on, we saw that coming, right? I mean, dude, it's just hilarious. Those news, right? We were looking at this for the longest time, right? We saw that trend line breaking down. In fact, we tried to short it. Sadly, we did not reach our very top. If not, that would have been a juicy, 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 juicy entry. Our next entry or our next opportunity, of course, was on a breakout retest on the way down. And what is it happening right now? I think we are looking to possibly, and just possibly, a rally to create then a dead cat bounce. But other than that, at this point, we are consolidation very strongly. We're about to break that consolidation, and we are somewhere in the middle. So keep an eye on your prime score. That's going to lead the direction of breakout. But so far, since we're green, and let me bring up, and right here, I want to see order blocks. Let's see. All right, order block at the bottom at the top, coming in with strong quantum reactor. We have a lot of resistance. So I believe that coming back down for some supporting here and further could be making the actual difference to then a rejection. So I believe that's gonna be our way to go on these areas. So keep an eye, I would say, on AI driven coins. Also keep an eye on Ethereum, keep an eye on BNB. And by the way, Ethereum, we're out of that trade. Remember, we took profits right here. And as we were coming back up, we did not re-enter in here, or at least I didn't re-enter in there. I'm not really trading at this point. I'm concentrating back on, and look at that, man. Oh god. But that was pretty good. I mean, we're right now entering I'm gonna be right now entering as we break below this line. So that might be just the only thing that I will be looking for, right? I will be concentrating a little bit more on metals at this point, not because they have moved up, because we already have jumped in, and I'm gonna be looking for an exit on some profits. It's always important to take profits, all right? Talking about Solana, let's go daily really quickly here, and we are to the T respecting our setup. Maybe not quite as low as we were expecting, but look at that, a pretty good area. We can still go a little bit lower, but at this point, again, we need to wait for that rally, for a Santa Claus rally to either play or fail, but it seems like we are still gonna hit a low. So let me bring up some support and resistances, and the next target is going to be 88.42 if we reject right now from where we are. Still looking for that rise up and dead cat bounce. I think that we can still make it, but it's not the time at this moment. So guys, let's get it here. Thank you so much for your patience. Today was a not such a pretty day on getting started with the stream. Everything get changed place, but that's fine. We deal with the issues as they present itself, right? Thank you so much for your patience. And as always, guys, see you guys not tomorrow because it's Christmas, but maybe 26. We retake things on the 28th 6. So guys, once again, thank you so much. And as always, see you guys the next week.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional balance.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out, 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 out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?